But the other day when I logged on to my Concrete 5 website, one of my Concrete 5 websites, I got an alert that there is a new version of Concrete 5 that is finally released, Concrete 5.8, 8.1 actually. And it comes with something called Concrete 5 Express. And this is a great new feature, so we're going to try it out. You see, Concrete 5, you see I started the download here from concrete5.org/download. Download, very simple. Something I love real quick is you can copy the link address, and that is the file. You can reuse that. So you can use wget on a Linux system to download that if you need to, and then unzip it on your server. So here it is, it's downloaded. But Concrete 5 is a great system. I love it, but it's not very good for items, objects, and that's what they've fixed. So for instance, if you have an e-commerce site, honestly, Concrete 5 is not a great solution. They have some plugins, but not some great plugins, and things are not consistent across the site. So they have now objects that you can change the object on a back-end system, and now the object updates on all the different pages. Which you could have created a plugin for that before, but from what I could tell, there were no good plugins that way. So here we are. I've opened up the Concrete 5 zip file. Now what I'm going to do is I am going to copy these. I've right-clicked and copied it, and I'm going to go to my htdocs, xampp htdocs, and I'm going to make a folder called C58. I'm going to Control V here to paste these. You could also right click and paste. I just want to look at how complicated the install may or may not be. You can see I am using xampp, so I can get in here in xampp real quick and make sure that I start Apache and start MySQL if they're not already running. Xampp is a great, easy way to set up a server on your local computer, whether for actual server purposes or just for experimenting and testing scripts and sites and things like that. Loading, loading, loading. Still transferring all the files. Yeah, so just to go over this a little bit more, let's go over here to, while we're waiting on that, let's go to the Concrete 5 website. You can see there's legacy versions here. What I want to see is, does it show our requirements here somewhere? Here's our upgrade paths, requirements to install. So let's go to support and see what we can find out. Let's try it a different way. Concrete 5 8.1 requirements. Let's see what the system requirements are. Version 8 system requirements. You can see it does require a newer version of PHP than version 7 did. It requires a few extra extensions, it looks like. Let's see. MB string, file info. That's about it as far as extensions. PHP safe mode off. PHP memory limit has at least 64 megabytes. Basically, it's almost the exact same system requirements as the previous version of Concrete 5. So if you've used Concrete 5 version 7, then you're pretty well set to go. You might have to install these 2 extra extensions, and I don't know honestly if I have those ones installed or not. Let's come back over here to our xampp. I don't use xampp enough to really be familiar with it, but I think I go to PHP to look for my php.ini file, the general use one. PHP configurations. Let's edit this with Notepad++. We should be able to see the extensions here. Meanwhile, we are still unpacking. Time remaining about 10 minutes, which is going to be a problem. Had to refresh my memory. Using Ice Cream Screen Recorder here. I'm going to pause this and let it catch up. So you can see here, here's the extension for PHP file info and extension for MB string. They're uncommented out. If you have xampp, these probably come pre-installed, and you'll have that option to disable or enable it. The semicolon there will disable it. But so we want them enabled since that will be required. Now, in the end, they were already enabled, so I don't have to worry about any of that. Okay, so it looks like it has finished unzipping, so let's go ahead and try it. First of all, let's see if my host setup has worked. c58.com. Ooh, it doesn't like it. Well, instead of playing with that and seeing what I did wrong, wasting your time, I'm going to go ahead and go to localhost/c58. Okay, so the first thing it wants to know is what language we speak. American English. We've got all of our system requirements met. And where's our continue option? Here it is. Continue to installation. Name 58. Let's just go with the theme, C58. Here's the email address, solutions@button108.com. Starting point, an empty site or a full site. Lately I've gotten where I really like the empty site. I don't want to see their demo content. Server name, MySQL, username, MySQL password, and database name. So what does that tell us? That tells us that we need to create our own database within MySQL, and then we're going to connect it to it. Local host. I'm logged in as the root user, so this is a local testing around MySQL system. So now we're going to create our database name. Let's see, C58. Easy peasy. Create schema. We now have a database, C58. Now at this point, I'd really want to set up, for any purposes besides locally, I'd want to set up its own username and password, not give it full root access. But I am going to give it full root access because there's nothing on here. So we got the database name, C58, localhost, because we are on the local computer, and root. Actually, localhost would work on most types of setup. The username for the MySQL, the password for MySQL, and we're going to install Concrete 5. Let's see if it gives us an error. It did. I bet I typed my password in wrong here. Access denied for user. Alright, here we are. Got that password right now, and it is installing. Meanwhile, we can look at screencasts like this. Developer documentation, user documentation, forums. Let's look at the YouTube channel. Let's see what they have here on Concrete 5. This is a great video that shows the new feature a little bit. And these, I take it, are also similar, just showing the new setup within Concrete 5.8. Quick summary in Concrete 5 version 8. How to install Concrete 5 step by step. So, yeah. The support online for Concrete 5, I would say, is adequate. It's not great, but it's not bad. It's better than a lot of the others. They have, you can view the full API and understand how everything works. I gotta say, they do a pretty good job. The community, I feel like, I guess, is where I maybe have a bit of a problem. There's not as much of a community around Concrete 5, but I can't talk. I'm not good at online communities either, so. You can see up here at the top, here's our little progress bar, slowly making its way across the screen. Okay, and the installation is now complete. It says we've been logged in automatically. Now it tells me that I can go to the dashboard, but fancy that, I don't see anywhere. Oh, there we go. Edit your site. Only place to proceed from there. Loading, loading, loading. Totally blank site, blank theme, nothing here really. The most basic theme. So you can see here, if you've ever used Concrete 5.7, very familiar interface. You can add a block to any of these sections. Let's see about the gear. We got the composer section, we got the design, everything's looking the same there as far as that goes. Add content to this page. That's just blocks again. We have the page list over here. We can add a new page. There's only one page right now because I started with the empty site. Now, let's see if I can find these new features here. So I pushed the dashboard button, Express. I really don't like that term, Express. It seems like I'm using the light version of Concrete 5, not the full version, where I think these objects are a huge leap for them. Now, I get what they said. If you listen to their video, them talking about it, it's kind of different than the general purpose of Concrete 5. For instance, I don't like making websites on WordPress. A lot of people do. To me, WordPress is meant for blogs. And it's great for blogs. But if I'm going to make a normal website, I'd rather use Concrete 5. To me, it's better for that. It's more user-friendly. It's easier to go back and make the adjustments you want than it is on WordPress. However, I've gotten where I love Concrete 5, and if I want to design a e-commerce site, I would love to have the ability to use Concrete 5 to do that, rather than having to use Magento or something like that. So let's see. Let's add an object. Let's say computer. Desktop computer. Lowercase letters and underscore only. Desktop computer. Plural handle. The plural representation of the handle above used to retrieve this entity if it is used in associations. Well, I'm not sure exactly what that means at this point, but let's push desktop computers. That's plural. That's easy enough. Advanced options are all optional here. An internal description not publicly displayed. This entity supports custom display ordering via dashboard interfaces. I believe it means ordering as in sorting, not ordering as in purchasing something via e-commerce. Owned by, well, we don't have anything yet to own it. Okay. So we save it. Now we have the details here. Edit entity. That's where we can edit what we've already created about it. And a few other things, like our forms that we'll use later. Attributes. I know very little about this. I've only seen their brief rundown video. Let's say we have some attributes about it. For instance, we want a title. Easy enough. Let's say we want a description. We might want that to be HTML. Let's see if they have an HTML option here. Unless I'm missing it, it looks like we have to go with a text area. Knowing Concrete 5, that probably could be HTML at its core anyway. Lowercase. You know what? I think I did these backward. The handle needs to be lowercase. Input format. Here we go. Rich text. Default setting. It says it's the default setting, but it wasn't this time. Let's go here and fix that real quick. Title. Title. And let's say we wanted to give it a price. We could give it a number here or a text box. Let's try number. I've never used a number attribute with them before. Price, handle versus name here. Doesn't need to be searchable. Associations, let's go check this out. You've not created any associations. Forms, that's going to be how it appears on different pages of the site. So let's see our default form. Let's say we want to show it all. Add the title to the form. I'm going to add the description to the form. I'm going to add the price to the form. Now, why is there a second info form down here? Can I delete that without deleting the other? Let's find out. Invalid field object. So I think that was an error that showed up. Okay, let's go back to the object. Now we have a form that's edited. View desktop computer entries. None, but we can add some here. New desktop computer. Dell. This computer, dude. $800. Oh, it looks like we're adding another one automatically. That's nice. Let's try that. Let's try Apple. Better than you. Price, 2,000. Lenovo. It works. 500. Can you tell which one I like better out of these three? I think it might be hard to. I hope so. Hope it's hard to. The truth is, it's Lenovo. Alright, so let's back up. So now we can view, you should be able to view all three of these entries. Yes, we can. We have 3 computers. Now, let's jump back to the website and see if we can do something here. Empty main area, let's add a block. Form, legacy form, external form. How do we add a feature, page list? Let's see if we can find our new objects here. Express, okay, a list or details. Ooh, fancy. So I should be able to add a list of all of our desktop computers here. Number of items per page. Link to detail page. That's probably if I have a special page that describes the computers in better detail. Yeah, let's just go with the default and see what it looks like here. Design. Nice features. Let's just move on. There we go. We have a list of all of our computers. Now, let's add another one up here. Let's just grab this empty site-wide header. It's a dumb place to put it, but let's go to Express. Ooh, can't search for Express. That's not nice. So I have to scroll down here and find Express and look for details. Display a specific entry or get an entry from a custom attribute on this page. Handy feature. We're going to display a specific entry in this case. We're going to display a desktop computer. And which one do we want to do? We'll choose our entry. We could choose which form if we had different ways of displaying it. We're going to display a Lenovo. And there we go. So here's our info. So we could, wow, we could really make a lot of design things like that. And anywhere we put this, if we update that product on the back end, it's going to update on every page. That is extremely nice. So I'm really looking forward to experimenting with this and using it more. I'm very happy with how easy that was to use, considering this is literally my first time running through it at all with barely any information on it. That was very easy to set up. It was very easy to set up the objects for the first time. So good job, Concrete 5. Good job, crew. Use Concrete 5 and you're planning on using version 8. Let me know. Tell me what you think of it. Tell me if you've had any experience with it yet, or if you are looking forward to some of these new features, or if you think they should go back to just doing what they do best and sticking with static blocks on single pages. Thanks.